Hello students, welcome to Samveda e-learning program, class 7th Science. A warm welcome to you all to study chapter 8 Winds, Storms and Cyclone session 2 of 3. Students, the learning points of session 2 of 3 are wind currents are generated due to uneven heating on the earth, thunderstorms and cyclones, structure of a cyclone, destruction caused by cyclones, and precautions and safety measures. These are the learning points that we are going to discuss in this session 2 of 3. Students, in the previous class, we learned some concepts, that is, there are different types of natural phenomena. Some are looking very nice to see, it may be lightning or a rainbow, and some are destructive like lightning. And also, what do you see? This one is also one of the natural phenomena where we see the destruction, that is a cyclone. The same way, we learned that air exerts pressure by different experiments. So, air exerts pressure, this is the main concept which we learned in the previous class. Next concept is high speed winds are accompanied by reduced air pressure. Let us try to understand how winds are produced. How winds are produced. How they bring rain. No, rain comes through wind. Now, but how they bring rain is a question now. How they can be destructive sometimes. How they cause destruction sometimes. So, the questions in front of us. Okay, you already know that when air moves, it is called wind. When air moves, it is called wind. Air moves from the region where the air pressure is high to the region where the pressure is low. It's a concept. That means air moves from the region where the air pressure is high to the region where the pressure is low. For this concept, let us do a simple demonstration. I have a water bottle. I make a hole in the above water bottle to the cap. I make a hole in the center. I fix a balloon and I fix a straw in the middle of the water bottle. Now, I will blow the balloon and keep it on the mouth of the water bottle. What do you see? Dear students, let's start a simple demonstration. For that, we need a water bottle, a straw, a glass of water, and a balloon. Fix the balloon to the pen cap and make a hole in the middle of the water bottle cap, so that should be fixed tightly into the water bottle. See here, the cap is passing through the cap of the water bottle. Now make a hole in the middle of the water bottle and insert a straw there. Close the hole with the help of this clay. So that air should not go out of this water bottle. It is a low cost material, so that you can do by yourself and there is no hazards for doing this experiment. It is very fun for you. You can take colored water also, it look very nice. Okay students? Okay. Now I am going to pour water into the water bottle. See here, water is not coming out. Now, let's blow air into the balloon. Blow air.
Now fix this cap to the water bottle and you can see a beautiful experiment once more. Water is coming. Start.
The greater the difference in pressure, the faster the air moves. The greater the difference in pressure, the faster the air moves. That means what? If the pressure is less, air moves slowly. If the difference in pressure is high, the air starts to move fast. But how are the pressure differences created in nature? So I created simple demonstration. But how the pressure differences created in nature? Is a difference in temperatures involved? See, pressure is accompanied by temperature. Pressure, temperature, wind, everything was interconnected. The next question is a difference in temperature involved in this creating the wind? For this, the following activities will help you to understand this concept. Let's do. Come. Air expands on heating. This is the concept. For this, what we need, showing you. Okay, let's follow the steps and I will show the demonstration. For this, okay, activity, take a boiling tube, stretch a balloon tightly over the neck of the tube. You can use a tape to make it tight. Pour some hot water in a beaker. Insert the boiling tube with the balloon in the hot water. Observe for 2 to 3 minutes for any change in shape of the balloon. Take the tube out, let it cool down to the room temperature. Take some ice cold water in another beaker and place the tube with the balloon in cold water for 2 to 3 minutes. Observe the change in the shape of the balloon. Think and try to answer. First question is, what makes the balloon inflated when the boiling tube is placed in hot water? Next question is, why is the same balloon deflated when the tube is kept in cold water? This is the main questions which you come across in this experiment and activity. Can we infer from the first observation that air expands on heating? Can you now state what happens to the air in the boiling tube when it cools down? Students, instead of taking boiling tube, I have to put directly the balloon into the boiling water. It starts expanding.
It start inflating. Why? That means the air will expands on heating. You can set the size of the balloon. Okay, I'll keep this balloon in running water. Now I'll put it into boiling water. See the size. Yes, see here, the size of the balloon is become bigger and bigger when, when the water starts boil. So you notice that it becomes bigger. Now I'll transfer this balloon into the cold water. See the changes in the balloon. It shows that air expands on heating. See, sizes become small.
If I keep the balloon in a cold water, it starts deflating. What we conclude that air expands on heating. contracts on cooling. Now, the next activity is very interesting. Let's do. Okay, this will make you understand more about hot air, how that will be. So, activity number 2, take 2 paper bags or empty paper cups of the same size, hang the 2 bags in the inverted position on the 2 ends of a metal or wooden stick. Tie a piece of thread in the middle of the stick, hold the stick by the thread as in a balance. Now, put a burning candle below one of the bags. Observe what happens. Why is the balance of the bags disturbed? Does this activity indicate that warm air rises up? As the warm air rises up, it pushes the bag above the candle. Does the disturbance of the balance suggest that the warm air is lighter than the cold air? Can you now explain why smoke always rises up? Also, it is important to remember that on heating, the air expands and occupies more space. When the same thing occupies more space, it becomes lighter. I think now you understand about the hot air and a cold air. So, what we conclude, when air gets heated, what will happen? It goes up. When burn incense sticks, we saw that fumes are going upward, not downwards. What indicates? It indicates that on heating, air rises up. The warm air is therefore lighter than the cold air, isn't it? The warm air is therefore lighter than the cold air. That is the reason that the smoke goes up. In nature, there are several situations where warm air rises at a place. The air pressure at that place is lowered. When the warm air rises up, what happens to the place where the hot air rises up? It creates a low pressure. The cold air is from the surrounding areas rush into it and fill its place. That's the concept. When the warm air rises up, it creates a low pressure in that surrounding. Suddenly what happens? The cold air will rush into that place to fulfill the place. This sets up convection in the air, as learned in chapter 4, convection in air. The next concept is wind currents are generated due to uneven heating on the earth. Uneven heating on the earth which generates the wind currents. These situations are, number 1, uneven heating between the equator and the poles. Have you learned that? Equator and the poles. So, uneven heating between the equator and the poles, it makes convection air. You know that the light rays falling on the surfaces, all the surfaces will not get similar type of temperature. The main thing is the regions close to equator, the region close to equator will get a maximum heat from the sun. See there. What about the poles? The poles will get minimum temperature from the sun. Keep in mind, the regions close to equator get maximum heat from the sun, but the poles gets minimum temperature, that is the minimum heat from the sun. See here, in equator, that is 0 degree, what we call tropical zone, there is 26 degrees Celsius. When we go to the near the North Pole and South Pole, see properly, there is a less temperature, that is minus 23 degrees Celsius, or it may be minus 7 degrees Celsius in the North Pole. In the South Pole, there is a minus 33 degrees Celsius. What it shows? It shows that both the North Pole and South Pole get the minimum heat from the sun, whereas the equator get maximum heat from the sun. That's why we call that both North and South polar zones are very cold compared to these equator regions. The air in this region get warms where the place get more heat? No. That place, the air will get warm in that place. The warm air rises and cooler air, it forms the regions in the 0 to 30 degrees latitudes belt on either side on the equator moves in. When the air in the equator, due to more heat, it rises up, suddenly the cooler air from the two poles is there? No, they will come towards the equator. These winds blow from the north and south towards the equator. At the poles, the air is colder than that latitude about 60 degrees. The warm air is that at these latitudes rises up and the cold wind from the polar regions rushes in to take its place. See students, I told you, in the equator there is more heat, wherein the two poles, that is north and south poles, there is a less heat. When the warm air rises up due to more heat in the equator, suddenly the cold air will rush from the north pole and south pole. I think now you get an idea how the air rushes. We have concluded that the warm air will rises upward. It creates a low pressure, so suddenly the cold air will rush into the equator to fill the gap. In this way, wind circulation is set up from the poles to the warmer latitudes. The winds would have flown in the north-south direction from north to south or from south to north. See how it's happened. A change in direction is, however, caused by the rotation of the earth. So, rotation of the earth also main causes due to these conditions. You know that earth rotates on its own axis, it creates seasons? No. It's also main causes for this convectional air. See students, due to earth rotation, we can see different seasons on the earth. It may be summer, winter, autumn, like that. It is caused due to the earth rotation. We know that earth rotates on its own axis and also it revolves around the sun. While revolving around the sun, by continuous rotation, the seasons will happen. Okay, students, you understand the concept? Okay. Now, the second one is uneven heating of land and water. Beginning, we discussed about uneven heating of air. Now, the next thing is uneven heating of land and water. You know that in summer, near the equator of the land warms up faster. And most of the times, the temperature of the land is higher than that of water in the ocean. It's correct, no? The temperature of land is higher than that of water in the ocean. So, the air over the lands gets heated and rises. Correct, no? Obviously. This causes the winds to flow from oceans towards the land. Now, in the beginning, the air starts to move from north to south pole to equator. Here, the winds will start flow from the ocean towards the land. These are monsoon winds. What do you call? Monsoon winds. The word monsoon is derived from the Arabic word mausam, which means season. Which means season. Kala anta kariತೀವಿ. In winter, the direction of the wind flow get reversed. What happens? It flows from the land to the ocean. The winds from the ocean carry water and bring rain. This is how we get rain during monsoon seasons. It is a part of the water cycle. The monsoon winds carry water and it rains. Clouds bring rain and give us happiness. No. Farmers in our country depends mainly on rains for their harvests. Okay. ಅಂದರೆ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ರೈತರು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಮಳೆಯನ್ನು ಆಧಾರ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಳೆಯ ಆಧಾರಿತ ವ್ಯವಸಾಯವನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಕೆಲವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಮಾನ್ಸೂನ್ ಮಳೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಆಡುವ ಜೂಜಾಟ ವ್ಯವಸಾಯವನ್ನು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ರೈನ್ಸ್ so that the crop will destroy. Sometimes we get less rain. In that conditions, we can't get more crops. So we have to develop technologies to grow more crops without depending on the rain. Okay, students, will you do? Yes. Now we have varieties of technologies. We have bores and a well, get water to grow the crops and have channels like that. Okay, students? Uneven heating of land. Especially the Rajasthan deserts generates monsoon winds from southwest direction in summer. Uneven heating of land, especially the Rajasthan desert generates what? Monsoon winds from southwest direction to in the summer. Here, how the monsoon winds are taking from the Rajasthan towards the southwest. Okay, I hope you understand. These winds carry lot of water from the Indian Ocean. Okay, you know that in the map you have seen that the wind can move from oceans to land, that is from oceans to the toward from the Rajasthan. So you get lots of water from the Indian Ocean. However, it's not always happy ending. Till now we discussed a lot of things about how we get air, how we get rain. So we feel that it is very happy to see the rain, the clouds, everything. But it is not always a happy ending. Rain often creates problems. What problems it creates? Can list some of the problems where the rain creates a problem. For example, due to heavy rain, the floods will occur. It demolishes and smashes all the houses near the coastal areas. Is one example. Likewise, just discuss with your parents and your friends how the rain creates problems. Okay, students, just discuss with your teachers and your parents how it is caused and how they create problems. Now, in nature itself, there are certain situations that can sometimes create disasters and pose threat to humans and animals and plant life. I already discussed with you that all natural phenomena are not constructive always. They may be destructive. They threat to humans, animals and plant life. In the situations, what precautions that should be taken to save these lives? Okay, let us study two such situations. Number one is thunderstorms and cyclones. So the one of the threat which is caused over the human beings, plants and animals. That is thunderstorms and cyclones. The major threat, it causes lot of disasters on the earth surfaces. That is thunderstorms and cyclones. You know that uneven heating of land and water in winter generates winds from the northwest colder land. These colder winds carry little water, hence bring small amount of rain in water. Okay, thunderstorms develop in hot, humid tropical areas like India very frequently. That is thunderstorms. The rising temperature produces strong upward rising winds. These winds carry water droplets upward where they freeze and fall down again. Keep in mind, this wind will carry water droplets upward. They freeze there and fall down again. The swift movement of the falling water droplets along with the rising air creates lightning and sound. It is the event that we call a thunderstorm. Minchu, gudugu anta heltivalva. That is called thunderstorm. We will read about lightnings in the 8th classes, okay? Just wait till that. Students, if a storm is accompanied by lightning, we must take the following precautions. Keep in mind. ಅಂದರೆ ಗುಡುಗು ಸಹಿತ ಮಳೆ ಬೀಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಂಚು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅನ್ನೋ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ತುಂಬ ಪ್ರಿಕಾಷನ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿಕಾಷನ್ಸ್? ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಿ ಒನ್ ಬೈ ಒನ್. Keep in mind, during thunderstorms and lightnings, open space is not safe. It creates many problems it will be very dangerous to walk in a open space during thunderstorm. Okay, sometimes it will be hit on you and it will be killed. So be careful. Keep in mind, open space is not safe during thunderstorms. What it shows? During heavy rain, shall I stand under a tree to protect myself from rain? It is good? No. Do not take shelter under an isolated tree. Should keep distance between the tree. Otherwise, it will be hit by the lightning. Because lightning, the thunderstorms will select only the higher places, that is, it may be building or it may be tree like that. So don't take shelter under isolated tree during thunderstorm. If you're in a forest, take shelter under a small tree. Okay, don't stand under a big tree, just take shelter under a small tree if you're in a forest. Okay, students, what it shows? Open car or standing outside from the car, it's not safe. Okay, a car or a bus is a safe place to take shelter. Just sit inside, don't go outside. Or don't come and touch the vehicles, metal surfaces during thunderstorm. It causes choking hazards. Just be safe in a car or a bus. Okay. Next, do not lie on the ground during thunderstorm. Now should it be, it is crouched position, make us small so that we can protect from thunderstorms and lightning. Next thing, do not take shelter under an umbrella with a metallic end. Why it is so? Because that metal is there, no, it is a good conductor of electricity. So you get shock. It absorbs the electricity signals from the thunder and lightnings, and it leads to choking hazards. So do not take shelter under a umbrella with a metallic end. It should be a plastic end. Do not sit near a window during thunderstorms. Okay, students, I think we will follow. So the main thing you should follow during thunderstorms. Open garages, storage sheds, metal sheds are not safe place to take shelter. If you're in a shed, don't touch the metal surfaces. It leads to choking hazards. So open garages are not safe to take shelter during thunderstorms. If you're in the water, get out and go inside a building. Don't try to play in water during thunderstorm. We know it's very happy to, and it gives more enjoyment to play in water during rain, but it is not safe to play with water during rain. So don't play in water, just go inside a building. Students, till now we discussed a lot of things regarding the air, how it exerts pressure and how the air starts moving upward during more heat. We discussed it, and also we come to know how the thunderstorms will form, and also what precautions should be taken during thunderstorms. I hope you learned a lot of things in this session. I am your Srinivasa KV, Assistant Master, GHS, Kanagamakalapalli, Bagepalli Taluku, Chikkaballapura District. Thank you.